Morlin the Caster here with another video of horrific visions in BFA. Today we're going to be I'm going to be showing you how I get to the third stage in the horrific visions before either finishing or dying. To do this, you're going to need, at least in my opinion, you're going to need cranial defibrillation. This is if you're doing it by yourself. A complete solo trial of this. So with cranial defibrillation, what happens is if you run out of sanity and or die, you instantly get brought back to 500 sanity and 100% health. Very helpful. So what I usually do is I just run right through to the gate, not worrying about the ads because I'm a tank, so I'm able to take a little bit more damage, and maybe DPS may have a different time. Maybe you have to do a little bit different strategy, but the general points of it should matter. I feel like any class with a lot of self heals and AOE should be able to be fine. Like a Druid, a Boomkin should be fine on this. They're able to reduce damage and stuff. Anywho, I do a lot of pretty big mob pulls throughout this. But anyways, what I like to do is I try and get to the first door before starting attack. So with a mount, you should be able to bypass most of the mobs without being attacked. And because if you get attacked, you lose your channeling on the gate, so that's kind of a bummer. So that's what I do. And then so as you move through, you just want to make sure you're not dying. Do your best to mitigate damage, heal yourself if you can. Warlocks, for example, I've done this on my warlock as well. I do have to do a little bit different pulling. I have to do a little bit more kiting. I'm unable to just pull as much, but either way, most classes and specs should be able to do it. Maybe healers might have a hard time because of the damage output, because time is of the essence. But each class may have a different strategy. But the big strategy, at least for the first section of this, is go ahead and let your sanity timer run out completely. Just let it die. You're gonna move as far and as fast as possible because with cranial defibrillation, you can put a lot more. Sorry, my dog barked, so I had to kind of splice some video stuff together. Where I left off was talking about risk and how cranial defibrillation gives you that risk. And because if you don't use cranial defibrillation to begin with, you may be using your first little orb when you still have about 200 or 300 sanity left, or like at least anywhere above 10%, because that's when you kind of want to use it. You don't really want to pull, at least in my opinion, I don't really pull mobs unless I'm at 10%. I definitely, if I'm above 10%, I'll pull another mob. If I'm below, I definitely will use my little orb of sanity. So, with cranial defibrillation, whatever the fuck it's called, while you're solo, my opinion is to lean on that as your first, because that's going to get you the furthest, because you can pull negligently. You don't have to stop, and you're not going to burn your orbs on potential sanity that you could use, because here I'm going as far as possible without my sanity, because most people would use it right now. I still have a little bit of time. So I have to kill this little guy first, but I got to get my totems, and then I'm going to kill the guy. But as you see, because I was really nervous that cranial defibrillation will eat up a charge of your orbs, but it doesn't. It's completely free, completely free death. It doesn't cost you anything, as you're about to find out. So I just go ahead and you just pull you just keep going, just go on with your life, and because now I'm gonna be able to go to the third zone with 3 charges of sanity. And that's huge because it gives me a lot. It allows me to play a little bit more conservatively on where things get a little bit riskier. That's why I try and postpone cranial defibrillation as far as possible. Let me talk about. I know I'm about to kill him, but Oblivion Elemental. He's pretty easy. Really, all you gotta do, avoid the waves, and collect your silence. So, those are the 2 things you gotta do with him. He's a really easy boss, easy zone. So, yeah. Let's head over to the other, the drag zone. This one is kind of frustrating. I mean, this is the one I always do second. I never do this one first. I mean, maybe you can do it first. I always stick to doing the Oblivion Elemental first, then to this guy, and then the Thrall. Just that's the way I do it. But what I'm trying to do is I'm going to burn some of these mobs down. Just so on the way back, on the way back, you're probably going to be low on sanity. So you want to run back and then charge up your sanity right before the last boss. So go ahead and clear the mobs out to the last area, because at least to the last area that you're planning on doing. Just so on the way back you can straight go to boss and cap out and finish your zone and get everything you need. Because I've never actually failed it before killing Thrall, so I don't know what happens. So I can't tell you. Hopefully you guys put in the comments, hey, if you die and lose your shit, like, you lost your shit. So, yeah, I don't know what happens. Anyways, taking another tip and trick for doing horrific visions, just in general, not necessarily just for 3, is to use your orbs of sanity regeneration. I don't know what the fuck they're called, but you got to use your orbs to your advantage, because you're able to attack and do anything really while in the orb, and you're pretty much invulnerable. It heals you, removes the debuff, which in both of these zones is the endomophia or whatever the hell it's called. So worms on you. This one you have to jump constantly. Both zones, at least in Orgrimmar, the first and the second, the ones that I'm doing, with the caster and the elementals and the totems, essentially the dragon and the pools of spirit, both of them have the jumpy worms where you have to jump to get the worms off you. It's very annoying. Just like this mob. This mob's very annoying. The Annihilator. Sorry about that. I am fighting a cold. It's kind of annoying. Very annoying. It's not coronavirus, trust me. So use the orbs to your advantage. As you'll see further out in this level, where I'll drop the orbs and then just pull a bunch of mobs and kill the mobs. So that's just another trick that goes, even if you're just doing like 1 or 2 zones, because you don't have enough gear or for whatever reason. Definitely worth trying. I have to wait for this roleplay to be over, which is kind of annoying. Son of a bitch. Anyways, try and use your orbs to your advantage. It could save you because it gives you free time. Well, I'm gonna pick up this chest real quick. I don't know what's in it. So some mementos, awesome. In the drag zone, the first like mini boss, which is Annihilator Lakal. He's very annoying because he has this little blast that pushes you away. And kind of what I've noticed, what works the best with him, is just pin yourself in a tiny little corner. So when he does his little void beam, it doesn't push you into another mob, because that happened to me and I nearly died. I think I actually did die and I had Cranial Defibrillation on. So try and pin yourself into a corner and just avoid the shadow pool so you don't lose about 30 sanity or 20 sanity, whatever it is. Definitely trying to avoid that little move. Pretty much the drag is pretty easy up until the last boss. You just open up buildings and kill ads. It's nothing not hard. It's still it takes time, but you're able to pretty much open 2 things per every mobs, which is kind of nice. You're able to get the objective done pretty quick. As you're gonna see here, though, oh fuck, who's this guy? So my sanity is getting a little bit lower, and this guy came out of nowhere. This guy kind of was a monkey wrench. But what I want to show you is another time where I use the orb trick. So just hold tight, and I'll show you this trick real quick. So I'm going to use a sanity orb and then pull the mobs, and because I have free health and free sanity, and it gives me about 6 to 10 seconds. I forget how long the orb lasts. I think it's 10 seconds to pretty much free kill. So I'm getting healed and able to not lose sanity on these guys and still be able to kill these guys. And when I'm done with this mob, I'll still have pretty much full sanity, enough to attack the last boss. The last boss in the drag, it's fairly easy to kill, but he has this shield that's very annoying, and he drains sanity like no other. It's crazy. So do be careful of him. I actually haven't figured out his entire move set yet. He has this he does have like this shield on him, which I'll show you guys later. But again, just try and use some movement speed ups to kind of just finish up the bullshit objective to get to the last boss. But there is a little bit of role playing, kind of like Every other boss, you know, I'm gonna waste a couple seconds of my D and go ahead and go to the end of the fight. But Inquisitor Gishnall, I think his name is very annoying because he somehow drains sanity like crazy. So I'm gonna try and push as fast as possible. But there's no way to avoid it because he has this move, Void Torrent, and I haven't figured out really how to avoid it just yet. I don't know if I don't know if it even is avoidable. I'm not sure. But the Cries of the Void is a shield that goes on him, and you actually have to DPS the shield down, otherwise it eats your sanity. And as a tank, I'm not able to push his bubble down. I just don't have enough DPS. As you see, he's over his health. He has a little shield buffer on the health bar. So go ahead and look. If you look at the health bar of him, it will tell you how much shield's left. I think it's only like 40 or 50,000 total damage, but I could be wrong on that. I'm gonna pick up this chest real quick. I think it's about 40 or 50,000 damage to trash the shield. But as you see, you know, because I use that orb on that mob, I have like maybe 200 more sanity than I would before the boss, or maybe not that much, but I have quite a bit more sanity before even heading back to the to Thrall or the last boss, and I still have another orb. I was gonna see if there. I just do because I do have a good bit of time, so I'm just gonna check to see if there's anything worth picking up over here. If not, let's go ahead and attack the last two mobs. Oh, actually, just kidding. I killed the last two mobs. Remember in the beginning, I pulled all those guys. I ended up pulling the first two mobs, and have a free shot to the last boss. So I'm gonna just go ahead and heal up and attack the last boss. A little thing to bring up at the last boss. Every time you kill a zone, a portion of that boss's power is absorbed through the last boss. For example, because I killed Elemental or Horror, whatever his name was, the guy from the first zone that you saw me do, that he will take my my soul essentially, and I have to find my lightness or some bullshit, and then which silences me. So Thrall's moveset, at least for Orgrimmar, is Seismic Slam, which is a frontal direct attack. So anything directly in front of him, if it hits you, you lose like 20 or 30 sanity, and it stuns you for about 6 seconds or so. And then he also adopts any zone you do. And I haven't gone to the other zones yet, so I don't know exactly what he does. He's going to pick up what I mentioned, the little silencing thing. He's going to pick up that shield from the last boss we did in Inquisitor Gishnall. And then he also has something very... his main moveset. So his main moveset is... Seismic Slam and Darkness. So as you see, Darkness is an alternating smash. If you do get hit by that, it loses about 200 sanities. So definitely make sure you stay out of that. Other than that, pretty easy fight. And once you finish, every time you finish a zone, you get a chest. You'll see I'll get 2 full pages. So I finished half the quest in one run. So if you're able to do 3 zones, 4 zones, or whatever, you get more pages. I still get trash loot, but whatever. But I do have to say, I appreciate you guys watching and staying here. Hope you guys comment, rate, and subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video.